Hey Bob, how are you?
Oh, I'm fine, Eric. And who's this?
That's Simon.
Simon.
Hey guys, how you doing?
Lovell? Like a Lovell?
Lovell, or you wish to be very français, monsieur.
Français, oh, Lovell.
As in Eric Decamps.
You know,
if
Bob,
wish to
I've
look
always wanted
camp.
to, excuse me.
So, I'm sorry, sorry to speak while you're interrupting.
I've always wanted to ask you this question.
I won't answer it, but go ahead.
Okay. How do you choose, how do you choose an effect that you feel that you can perform in front of an audience?
Very good question, by the way.
Thank you.
How do I pick it?
Yeah, how do you, how do you choose the effects that you do? The routines that you do?
Well, I like some of the stuff I come up with. I like to do stuff that's original.
Right.
I like to do stuff that reflects me and my level of skill and my own life stories. Rather than copying somebody else's pattern and stories, I like to use my own. That way, I'm in touch with what I do. The people are in touch with what I do because it's meaningful to me.
Okay.
Isn't that Bob another way of kind of saying that you need a personality as a performer, and you get the tricks to suit the performer's personality?
That's it. You know
as
something?
opposed to just saying what's new and grabbing the latest.
No, I understand it, but I think what I was trying to say is, how do you arrive at a piece that you want to perform? I always found that interesting how, all the great magicians always wind up doing, maybe a dozen tricks, a dozen routines that they do, and that's what they do for
Their whole lifetime,
right?
Yeah.
But how did they get to that position to choose those things, like Arnaud the Bear who did the egg bag? I'm trying to think of who else.
What was his name?
Arnaud the Bear.
De Bear, okay.
Bear.
The Bear.
Dad bears.
No, I just want to be sure.
But
they could
anything,
hear it.
but a lot of it is learning who you are first, right? Because I can look at a trick and think that's a really good trick, but it won't work for me,
Right.
Because I know who my character on stage
Right,
is and I know
that's
who
your
I am.
experience. Yes,
But that's the answer, right?
Right.
It's experience about who you are, and then you can look at a trick and think, snatch.
You know,
give me 20 of them because I need a lifetime supply.
Right.
Or fantastic trick, that's just not me, and that's what a lot of young magicians, I think, have to learn. They're looking for the trick that will make them a star,
Right.
and they don't realize
They're the star.
they're the star and the tricks are a vehicle. So once you get that mindset, I think it's much easier to pick material.
Somebody asked me one time, well, if I'm a certain character, how do I pick a trick? I said, well, I think you should pick something you like. Start with that. If it's something you don't like, you're not going to do it well. You're not going to care. You're not going to touch people with it. And I think we all go through levels, like we love the method, but the effect may be
That's a great. Right.
Yeah,
right?
that's very.
But we love the
very-
moves. We love the moves,
Yeah.
and you're so in love with the moves that you don't realize, you don't understand why you don't get a great reaction, because the trick doesn't warrant it.
There's no emotional connection with the trick, right?
Right.
Well, that's a strong thing, because I know that there are times where I'm reading a magic book and I'm going through the whole thing, and I know that I'm hooked on a piece, that I'm going to perform that piece. When I don't read the words, I see it. I see the actions, I see it like a movie, and I see all the actions, and I see myself in that position performing it, and then I try to find, the hook, the reason to present it, excuse me, a presentational hook.
Right.
To maintain interest, to create interest in what I'm going to present. And
I mean, you're a great magician. I mean, we're both great magicians, obviously, and we all have completely different emotional styles on stage. So what may work for me perfectly may not work for you. A piece you'll do beautifully, I could do and practice till I could do it as a clone of you.
Right.
And it still wouldn't work because I wouldn't have the heart in it.
Right.
I could never do the card in the mouth, and it's a classic with you when you do it.
Right.
And I couldn't do it. It's part of your personality. I mean, I could do it, but it wouldn't mean anything.
Right.
You take it and make a show out of it. I don't feel that way about the trick.
Simon makes a show out of everything.
Right. But so also what Eric does for cups and balls. I mean, because you do actually. I mean, and to be honest, as you know, I don't like the cups and balls that much. But I would say honestly, your routine with the Perrier at the end and everything is probably it's the one I really like.
Oh, I'm glad you like it. Thank you.
But it suits you, and it suits your style. And the reason it works for me is because I'm looking at not just props. I'm looking at
The overall picture.
the whole.
Okay. If you, us, had to say what's his character, what would we say?
My character?
Yeah.
His character,
What
I
would you
would say charming, elegant, sophisticated.
Right, and he works great in a Mellini situation. A stand-up, a parlor walk around. I mean, he's just brilliantly with the stories and everything else. So what's his character?
Oh, his character, without
Oh
doubt,
God, here we go.
improvisational comedian.
Right.
Very, very funny. I don't want to use the word clown, but I mean, but you do a lot of clowning around.
Absolutely.
And there's no question. I mean, you have a straight sense of humor. I mean, you come out. I mean, I remember when you did the Straight Jacket, which is hysterical. I mean, the first time I saw that, I thought it was hysterical. I mean, it really caught me off guard because I expected a regular, Straight Jacket escape, and then all of a sudden, I was watching a puppet show.
Yeah. Exactly, yeah.
It was very, very good.
It's ersatz to me, surreal, and you do all these unexpected things. I mean, this kind of bookish, kind of elegant, very specific.
That's a word that's
And
never
all of a
been
sudden,
used of me before.
you turn the tables around and become like this crazy guy, and everything works with that kind of frequency, that kind of vibration. Now,
What do
how
we
you see
think?
me, I don't know.
Tell you how I see you, Bob. I mean, because you're so theatre trained and so good at the theatre.
Without a doubt.
I see you
I gotta pay you guys.
as a magician. That when you take 4 coins and you vanish them in your hands, as Paul Harris would call it, the moment of astonishment. I can still get it from you. For that moment, I can truly believe I'm looking at real magic.
So, how does that mean, if that's your image, how does that relate to how I should do a trick? How I should look at it when I do it, which is going back to the original question you asked me. So, if I did something like you, it wouldn't be in my character.
Absolutely not. And if I did something like Eric,
Right. Well, vice versa,
people would go, "Well, he's doing an Eric Decamps impression."
Right.
Or if you did something of mine, they'd go,
Right.
"Is he on drugs or something?" They'd be crazy.
Well, that would probably help.
Certainly, if you're going to do something with my material.
But there's something I think that happens, or has happened at least to all of us, and it will happen to you, is that you do get in love with the method. You do play with the techniques, but there comes a point when maybe you're tired of that or bored with that, or you say, I'm not getting enough out of it, I'm better than this. I want to elevate that. What's the next step?
You
Is
have
it a
to rise
script?
above the trick.
Oh,
Is
without
it
a
a
doubt.
story?
Well, without a doubt.
How do we entertain? How do we communicate? How do we reflect something that's us in the doing of the trick and not just a clone? Look, see a trick, I'm hiding behind my trick.
Right.
Instead of,
Well, you know my famous line, Bob, is that magicians hide behind tricks because they're so insecure, and the bigger the prop, the smaller the hidden equipment.
yeah.
The secret equipment.
The secret naughty.
And it's funny because you and I have
gimmick.
spoken about this throughout the years. I mean, we've known each other for a very long time. And one of the things that I've always,
By the way, they're coming to arrest you right now.
Probably.
You know that. This is the police coming for Eric Decamps because
that's my ride.
It's too hot here, it's a fire department, okay.
But, and it's something that we've spoken about in the past for several years, I mean, for many years, is I always found it interesting, and I've always asked this of actors, and I've asked this of you many times, where I said, how do you keep a presentation fresh? I mean, let's assume the fact that you've scripted it out, you've rehearsed it, and more than just practice. You practice the trick, you rehearse the piece, you have it all down, and now you're presenting it in front of people, and now you have it in a show. I mean, you have a long-running show, and you do the same pieces over and over again, because that's how you get it smooth. I mean, my friend Renee Levon is always saying, that's how you make it round and make it smooth, and how do you keep yourself, remember, you're repeating the same words over and over and over again, the same situation, fresh.
And
that's
every
the
time
hard
is the
part.
first time.
Exactly.
So
And
how do you
that's-
do it?
How do I do it? That's interesting. There are times where I find myself away from where I should be, which is in the moment.
Mm-hmm. And that happens to all of us, of course.
And which bothers me. Then when I get back and I realize, wait a second, I was gone for a second. But I don't think it's detected in my audience, because I think it's well rehearsed and I can talk about it, and I usually don't go away for that long.